Yeah. See? Yeah. Yeah. What? See? See? One. See? One. See? Yeah. See? Yeah. One. See?
It will fall down.
Yeah. One. See?
Check, 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 check.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Good afternoon, distinguished colleagues, NEC members. I call the meeting to order. And let me begin by apologizing to all of you for starting this meeting late. I take responsibility. We had our health walk this morning. God was merciful to us. We enjoyed the weather. We had a walk, went to the football pitch. We witnessed part of the matches played today. But no excuses. I had to go to carry out some assignments that would help those who are planning this conference to go on with their responsibilities. And that is why I came late. I apologize, and I must pay. I apologize first, and I pay tribute to my mother, which is Harat Balogun, OON. Our mommy, as always, very punctual, very punctual. Mommy had been here for 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours before now. Mommy had been here. I'm sure you like, even if we are not able to copy mommy, but we can appreciate our mother for that. Mommy, we thank you. We thank you. And I apologize, especially to you for starting this meeting late. Mommy is already counting her great-grandchildren. And you now can have an idea of our grandmother's age. But in spite of that, the discipline, the ethical conduct, the professionalism with which we've always known her. And the gentleman that is sitting right in front of Mommy served when Mommy was Attorney General in Lagos State. And he has told us a lot about how you must know to dress well to come to work, know to dress well to approach the office of the Honorable Attorney General, Lagos State. Otherwise, you are excused from work that day because you cannot be in the ministry as a lawyer and not dress as a lawyer. Mommy, we thank you for being an exemplary member of this association, one that has kept the association in place for some of us who came much, much later to be a part of it. We are grateful. We thank you so very much, Mommy, for this opportunity to have you in our midst. And we continue to pray that God Almighty will keep you, preserve you, and provide for you according to his riches in glory. I'm not sure that Mommy will stay to the end of the meeting, but it's important for me to say this while it's still on my mind. Until Mommy intervened, this premises and the premises that we have as Nigerian Bar Association that was taken from the land given to the Council of Legal Education was without title. It was through the intervention of our mother, our grandmother, that land, part of the land, part of this land that was given to the Nigerian Bar Association by the council. So if we talk about NBA having property here, it's because people like Mommy and grandmother who have always had hearts for the Nigerian Bar Association, who have always supported the bar and would do anything in permissible limits, sure that the bar is protected, the bar is supported. Mommy, thank you so very much. God bless you. So I call the meeting to order. We'll go by the agenda, the NBA prayer, please.
I'll take the NBA prayer.
All right, let's do it together. Almighty God, our Creator, we pray you to be with us in all our deliberations and to direct our endeavors, so that we shall continue in all humility to glorify thy name and do that which is right and just for our profession, its members, our fellow men, and our country. And together we say, thank you very much.
We'll go quickly to the review of the minutes of the last meeting. The last Nec meeting held on June the 20th, 2024. I suppose all have received the minutes. The Nec bundle that was circulated already. I'm going through the first page of attendance. Page 2. Yes, please. Please hand over the mic to Mustafa. By the way, congratulations on your being shortlisted as one to be conferred with rank of Senior Advocate of Nigeria.
Thank you, my president and fellow members of NEC. I went through the attendance. I'm trying to figure out the exact page where the name of Garba Tentegi was reflected. I noticed that the name Garba was spelled as Galna.
The secretariat will take note of that.
Thank you.
Any other thing? Okay. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. 7. Page 8. Nine. Page 10. Yes. Please, identify yourself. Can you please? Okay, thank you.
Mr. President, good afternoon. On page 10, the name on number 59,
What's your name? For the
Dashak,
record?
supposed to be Dashak David Msuk.
Okay, so who is speaking?
Myself,
Yes.
President, yes.
What's your name?
My name is Dashak David Msuk, NBA Chairman, Shadam Branch.
Gandam Nashak.
Yes, Dashak David Msuk.
Have you gotten that?
Number 59,
Nashak.
David Msuk.
Your name was spelled wrongly?
Yes. It
Okay,
was,
that
it was
will be
spelled wrong.
corrected. Page 11. Yes, Mustafa, page 11. Okay, Miss Betty on page 11. Okay,
Dr.
instead of
Ghana,
that,
we should read Dr. Garba. Osman Tentegi. Let's see.
thank you very much, Mustafa. Page 12. I don't know if the pagination of the document that I have is the same as yours, because I've gone into the body of the minutes of the meeting. I've gone past, at page 11, I've gone past the list of attendees. Okay. So page 12. Page 13. Yes. Mr. Oyusule, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Do we have, should we, let's have two, where is Kogito? Let's have at least two of you Yes, come. Thank you.
Mr. President, my name is U.O. Sule, SAN. On page 13, number 61, the name there or the initial there is AOE. There's no name attached to that said initial. Very important to identify who the person is on this list, sir. I thank you, sir. Thank you.
That's how registered virtually. And that is why we always advise that if you are joining the meeting virtually, put your name on the device that you are using. That is the only way we can identify you. But whatever you write on your device, that is what we record. If the person who so attended that meeting virtually had pause to speak, probably we would have told him to correct that, or we would have had him introduce himself before he spoke on that day. But that wasn't the case, so we'll keep it like that. There is nothing we can do about that. Please, going forward, I don't know, going forward, maybe I'm speaking for the next administration. Yeah, but going forward, it is advised that if you are joining the meeting virtually, make sure that you don't use any acronym on your device. Use your real names, your names as on your name as on the register, the way you use your name officially. Let me use. So I'm on page 11, sorry, 12 of document I was looking at, but that is page 21 of the bundle, of the Nec bundle. Nec bundle. The last item on that page is the MBA sticker. So I'm going to page 22 now of the Nec bundle. Page 23. Page 24. Page 25. Page 26. Page 27. Anything on page 27? Page 28. Page 29. Page 29. Page 30. One. Signature page is on page 32. So that's the the end of the minutes of the last meeting held on the 20th of June, 2024. May I have someone move the adoption subject to the corrections made? Chairman, your branch, Austin.
Mr. Chairman, distinguished NEC members. Mr. President, I'm sorry.
You know, when you are just 5 days to exit as president.
President, I sincerely apologize.
Go ahead.
Let me erase whatever I said and start afresh. My president, distinguished NEC members, I was privileged to have attended the last NEC meeting, and having gone through with my colleagues the contents of the minutes, I move for the adoption of the minutes as forming part of the deliberations at that meeting. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Austin Branch, Chairman Branch. Yes, I can't recognize you from here. I'm sorry. Clement,
Thank you, my president, for the leave. My name is Owowo Caleb, Secretary, MBA Buhari Branch. I hereby second the motion, heavily moved to reflect as the minutes of the last NEC meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Secretary Buhari Branch, the Kradu branch, right? Thank you very much, and thank you for coming. Yes, the next item on the agenda, matters arising from the minutes of last meeting. I will, in my remarks, report some of the things that either NEC mandated us to do, some of the things we reported, and maybe progress those things. So I will just, there is no any comment or remarks on the minutes respect to matters arising from minutes of last meeting. And I appreciate the fact that just like I noted when I was exchanging pleasantries with some of our colleagues, a good number of the NEC members were not even in that meeting because they were either elected after the NEC meeting. Most were elected after the next NEC meeting, and some of the branches were even conducted their elections. Some of the new branches that were created had their new ESCO put in place after that NEC meeting. And I see at least two sandwiched between Ikeja branch and Lagos branch. So I'm sure we'll not have any Ikeja branch. Mr. Great Sheyi. I like your bow tie. That's just it. Thank you. Okay, so okay, we are getting a bit of history here that you are his successor, or you wear bow ties. So we'll just go quickly to we'll skip the president's speech to the General Secretary's report. Very quickly, we have our welcome cocktail. But before your report, because our grandmother will have to release our grandmother, but I will not do so before our grandmother would make some remarks and also bless us as usual. So please come and take your perfect. You are also a successor in this regard. So I would yield the floor to Mama Hirat Balogun, OON Venture, to bless us. And Mommy, I don't know if like to come up here.
I remain one of your supporters.
Thank you, ma.
I'm proudly so.
I'm grateful.
Mr. President, as you honor myself and other people, I must first of all beseech the Almighty to honor you and your supporters. And yes, we all have our differences, but I think the executive the National Executive Exco have done very well this year. We've had our ups and downs. We must. As you know, they say the tongue and the teeth fight as well. They're in the same mouth. But they have to be together to accomplish anything. So we thank God that the accomplishment has indeed made up for whatever discrepancies. So I'm asking the Almighty God to continue to be with all of us, every single one of us, whatever position we're in. We may think we're just at the bottom somewhere, but everything must have a base. It must have a base, a solid base to grow and succeed. So I think that is how I would like to refer to the junior members. It's just to keep it in mind that we're all hoping to get up there. And on that journey, the Almighty will continue to be with all of us, our families, our children. And I keep repeating this, even the babies, you encourage them. When they do well, you encourage them and you tell them, oh, Papa is very happy with you, Mommy is very happy with you. Keep it up. They cannot get full marks on the first day, but we keep working at it. And I'm really very, very happy that this executive has come this far. In fact, as far as I'm concerned, the conference has already started with this last meeting. So God, the Creator, He is the only one. The Creator is the only one who knows what He was doing, that He chose the late Onyabo Obi and myself to write a prayer. We were in an executive meeting and everybody was making noise, and I don't even know how the president was able to keep track. Then we just winked at each other, let's do something useful. We used to ask people to say prayers, they will say in their religion, and very few people will say amen, because maybe it's a Muslim prayer and they didn't understand what was being said. So because they don't understand, they don't answer. Then a Christian is asked to say a prayer. They say, is that how you pray? Is that all? Very few people answer. Let's have something that we will all know is ours. It doesn't have to be a long-winded thing. Just call the Almighty to be with us. And that's how this prayer was born. As soon as there was some lull in the meeting, late Onyabo touched a car and said, this is what we've been doing, or we're not listening to you. So he read it and he said, let me read it to everybody. And everybody said, passed. And today, God knows, I'm sure, if he were alive, he's not that much older than I, maybe 2 or 3 years. He was in the first class of the law school. I was in the second class of the law school. So very little between us, really. But then God has his way of doing things, keeping one of us around to carry on this function. And my prayer for us, as always, is of good health, success, prosperity, good successors, both at home and at work and in the profession. I say to people, you can't, any lawyer, it's only when you are with the other lawyers that you are happy. And they can't send you out once you don't misbehave. But you cannot even go and sit with any other profession. They will just be looking at you and sneering. But when you are with the lawyers, you are at home and you feel at home. And good things come out of your head, good things will continue. Things that will benefit this nation individually and jointly. Things that will make Nigeria great again. We have not lost hope. We must not lose hope. We are the inceptors of everything because law comes first. If there is no law, we can't do anything. So we must preserve our position as number one architect. Let me say, use that word. And we'll make sure we keep united. We keep united, give good examples to the ones coming behind us, encourage them, and they will be encouraged. So in the name of God, the Almighty Creator, I wish this meeting utmost success. I wish the conference coming up on Monday, one of the best ever. In fact, everybody will say, we didn't know these people could do it. It will be one of the best ever. We could even, they just wouldn't want, they might not want to give it to us and say, this is the best ever, but it will be one of the very best ever by the grace of the Almighty. Your labors will not be in vain. So please, just continue. If you're not on the executive next year, you are leaving, somebody says he's leaving, you can be president, so you can leave. You can be president. It only means that particular office is not for you again. So you are moving up. So please, don't lose any steam at all. Continue what you are. Nobody can say, what are you doing here again? No, that time is gone. You are part of the foundation and you continue to be till we get to that zenith by the grace of God, and we will. We will be respected as we have always been in Nigeria, and will continue to succeed and lead this country to success. Those will be my words for you. Just persevere, and you will get there.
Mommy, thank you so very much. And Mommy, you said something very profound about being around. Being around means someone who connects us to history, association. And one of the things that this administration has done, and which we intend to mention first to Nec before it is unveiled, is the fact that we commissioned the compilation of a book titled The History of the Nigerian Bar Association. And that is where you would see or read more about. If I ask you to take a guess, I'm sure you will not fail because it will be Christopher Sapara Williams, someone that I quote all the time. And of course, you will see the role that Mommy also played. And so permit me, Mommy, to come down and show this to you, because this is the only copy that is available to us yet. But we intend that this will be part of the materials that will be unveiled tomorrow to the Nigerian Bar Association, amongst other publications that we have commissioned. And there is no better person to do that than one that God has blessed us to keep around us. And such a person here with us today is no less a personality than our Mommy Hirat Balogun. So
The glory of God is the success, continuous success of the Nigerian Bar Association.
Thank you very much, man. And I know you'll be there tomorrow at the opening ceremony to officially unveil. Tomorrow, Sunday, thank you, at 4 p.m. Yeah.
Please, everybody join me. For they are jolly good fellows. For they are jolly good fellows. For they are jolly good fellows. So say all of us. So say all of us. You don't say. So say all of us. For they are jolly good fellows. For they are jolly good fellows. For they are jolly good fellows. Nobody can deny.
Thank you. Mommy, you only bend and me touch my head.
You're so tall. That's why we want you to be up there. Up there. We want to be up there.
Thank you, distinguished NEC members, for the honor. Wait. Hello? Observation? Okay, please.
Mr. President, my name is Ntika Ikweme, the chairman of MBA Calabar. Mr. President, distinguished senior advocates and members of this august body, we want to humbly pray that the chilling of the hall be reduced so that we can stay alive to the end of the session. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, sir.
So if I get you correctly, you are commending the conference planning committee for doing a good job, but that they should tone down the temperature. Okay. He moved to that motion. Who seconds?
Mr. President, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. Rashidat Mohammed, Chairman, MBA Sokoto Branch. I second the motion as moved. Thank you.
With all the heat from Sokoto and those who came from Medicine, we thought we should chill this place very well. Anyway, please, those who are handling the air conditioners, should maybe turn off some of them. Okay. I'm sure they wouldn't want us, they would not want us to tamper with their equipment. There must be somebody here who is responsible for doing that. Please help us locate the person and let him turn off the air conditioner. But then again, I must say that I am happy this has happened. because the last time I was here, we made a commitment to the Nigerian Law School. The students were all here, and the atmosphere wasn't conducive. And that is one of the reasons why I said we would have this meeting at the Nigerian Law School, so that instead of going to some other place, some other strange place, let us come here. Whatever little thing that we would spend to fix some of these things for our own comfort would naturally just translate to the comfort of our children. So I'm glad that this is effective. Of course, the weather is calm. It has also helped in the effective work of the air conditioners. But so that will be done immediately. General Secretary, please go on with your report.
Mr. President and distinguished members of the National Executive Committee, distinguished members of the National Executive Council, I will join Mr. President to specially appreciate our mama, the matriarch of the bar, who has done us the honor of once again being physically present at this meeting. She was physically present at the last meeting in Abuja, and several of our next meetings she was usually in attendance physically. So we thank all of you. We thank our mama. We thank all of those who are joining virtually for the support from the beginning of this administration till date. I stand before you this evening to present to you my very last NEC report as General Secretary of the Nigerian Bar Association. The journey started just about 2 years ago, precisely on the 26th of August when we were sworn in. And my very first NEC report was delivered in December 2022, the 15th of December 2022. Between now and then, I've presented to this body 7 NEC reports, and this is the 8th and the very last NEC report. So let me start by saying that this privilege, and indeed my pleasure, to have been the General Secretary of the Nigerian Bar Association, so elected by you all in the last 2 years, and give me great honor and glory to the Almighty God to present this very last report to you, NEC members. The report is on page 8 of the Secretariat report. In my report, which I will just paraphrase, I appreciated NEC members for the wonderful opportunity given to me in person and to all members of the National Executive Committee to serve you. And I confidently confirm to you that your decision to make myself as General Secretary and the rest of us here, particularly through the President of the Bar, as your National Executive Committee, was not a wrong decision. Because I can tell you that we've all toiled day and night to do the only thing that you've elected us to do, and which is to serve the association. We give glory to the Almighty God for giving us the opportunity and for making you the vehicle to bring us to this position. This NEC report, as usual, is divided into 2 parts. You have part A, which focuses on bar activities Part B, which focuses on report from members of the National Executive Committee. Part C focuses on reports from members of staff, departmental heads, and of course, the heads in various units in the secretariats. On page 16, I apologize that I have to keep taking off my glasses and returning it. You know, when I started this work, I wasn't using glasses. And that is the truth. Those who know me know that I was not using glasses. But the course of the work, the assignment that I undertook, because I'm not the type that writes in hand, I usually type directly into my laptop or my tab or my phone. So my exposure continually to the monitor, to the screen, had not done good to my vision. So I've had serious effects to my sight, and which is as a result of the fact that I have to get the job done. But I'm not complaining. I choose to serve you, and I'm happy, and I've served, and I will continue to serve till the 29th of August by the grace of God. Distinguished NEC member, I'm pleased to present to this dignity body the report of the activities of the National Secretariat in the last 3 months. As we all know, this is the last NEC meeting of this administration. Consequently, it is my very last report to be presented to this August body as General Secretary. I'm highly honored to have been afforded the opportunity to serve this great association. I'm most appreciative of the confidence that you all repose in me. The last 3 months have been most engaging, and the outcome have indeed been very remarkable. It is therefore my pleasure to announce that a number of positive developments occurred during the course of the last quarter. A number of innovative projects were actualized and launched in the last few weeks that will revolutionize the practice of law in Nigeria, and other achievements that will engender the advancement of the legal profession at large. And I go to the development within the secretariat. Number one is the stamp applications processing. For the first time in the last 2 years, I'm confident to report to NEC that the bottleneck that surrounded the stamp production process is now over. All pending stamp applications have now been produced at a very huge cost to the association. Unfortunately, also at loss to the producer of the stamp. Invariably, as I stated in my last NEC report in June 2024, the current rates for stamps are no longer sustainable. Our member must therefore be prepared to pay more for stamps if we are to avoid the repeat of the challenge of delay in stamp production. I therefore urge this August body to consider and approve the review of the cost of physical stamps as soon as same is presented before it by the, of course, our successors, because we do not have intention to do that because we are already out. However, it is important that I inform you that in the last 2 months or thereabouts, we received 8,719 applications for stamp. Of this 8,000 plus, 5,844 were paid stamp application, while 2,875 were complimentary applications. All of these applications, except those that have not been received at the secretariat, have now been produced. I believe that some of the branches must have received theirs before coming to NEC. Those who have not received will receive, I'm sure, will be delivered before return back to your various branches. We have cleared every single stamp application that were received in the course of this administration. However, there are some applications that were not concluded by the applicants because of their little understanding of the application process. So those who are affected, who did not receive email from MBA stating that their application has been concluded and completed, and they should expect their stamp anytime soon, should please approach the branch executive, and I think our branch leaders should also educate our colleagues who still have challenge with the application process so that they can apply properly and get their stamp produced. Why am I so elated that the bottleneck is finally over? Beyond the fact that we have printed all pending applications, we have gone beyond just physical stamp application to now introduce what we call digital stamp. On Monday, I believe, on Monday this week, we unveiled the digital stamp. And in the course of the conference, particularly at the AGM, there will be demonstrations where we're going to do formal launching for all our members to see of how that process will work, the application process, and we'll also announce the payment, the costs for the stamp. But it's going to be quite affordable. The president has assured me that we will make it as affordable as possible, that our members will not find it too by virtue of the cost. And it is important that I also speak to the fact that the digital stamp can only be applied for by someone who has paid his or her bypassing fees and branch dues. And that applicant will receive the stamp instantly, within seconds, or probably within minutes of application. You don't have to call anybody. You don't have to, wait for stamp to be delivered to you. It will be delivered to your portal instantly upon application once the payment is done. Thank you very much. And I'm happy that while we were on this, we were not so confident that it will be achieved. Even at all, we are very focused about this project, but we're wondering how to source the fund for it. That's why we're not so confident. But as President will always say that he believes in the God his house, and one way or the other, the money will come from somewhere. We paid so much money to get this thing done. The money eventually came, and I think it was like a miracle that we got it done. But at the end of the day, it is going to be an everlasting project that will remain indelible in the lives of our practice, and of course, in the life of every lawyer who is in active practice of law. I move to insurance. Insurance, in the bus services report, the insurance scheme is still ongoing, and I think we try to persuade Leadway to retain the 2,000 that we pay presently. They had wanted to increase this year. That is no longer feasible and sustainable for them to continue to collect 2,000 naira to pay 2 million naira. And we confirm that. We confirm that. The truth is that Leadway has been paying at least about 20 to 30 million in excess of what we pay to them in the last 4 years to our members who unfortunately, so the family of our members who unfortunately, have passed. That means something simply is wrong. A lot of our members are living this act. Something must be done. We recorded one just yesterday, and of course, I believe the president will be in the best position to speak to that at the appropriate time. But we lost a branch chairman even in Ikeja just about 2 weeks ago. We lost another past chairman, a past chairman in Ikeja, another past chairman of Enugu just yesterday. Very sad that this plague of death will be taken away from the legal profession. I spoke about the MB insurance, I spoke about the NHI scheme, and of course, I spoke about the fact that we now have 265 registered pro bono lawyers. Now let me go to library projects. I've been talking about library projects for over a year. I mentioned it at the last AGM. I mentioned it repeatedly at every Nec meeting. But to the glory of God, to the glory of God, I'm happy to say that the library project has now become a reality. MBA now has its own functional library, not just regular library, but digital, both physical and digital library. Please clap. Mr. President commissioned that project yesterday, I believe, because I was already in Lagos, on my way to Lagos, but we are likely going to do something bigger eventually, because a very great project that I believe the incoming administration will find very useful, and our members will find very useful as well, because of the need for us to encourage research, the need for us to encourage easy, availability of research materials and tools to our colleagues. You can access anything you want through the Law Pavilion app that are now made available, on the system that were for the library. But it is important that I mention the fact that what we did in the last few days, about 3-4 days ago, was as a result of sponsorship of so far 3 people. Kumi Quadri donated law reports to us. A few law reports, we still need far more. Nigerian Public Law Report also donated a few law reports to us. We need far more. But one individual called Prince Adewale Adebayo donated the sum of 20 million naira towards the library project. It was his money that we used to procure the furniture, the air condition, and the desktops, and of course other materials that were quickly put in place. And as we speak today, as I speak to you now, that library is in the very best position that you can imagine, that you can find or look for to find in any law library, because of the very interesting and enduring setting that was put in place. I appreciate the staff of the secretariat who have to work all through the night. I had to also supervise all through the night, from Thursday night to Friday morning, without sleeping for 1 minute, to ensure that that project became a reality. Particularly the staff in the procurement and facility department. I don't know if Elizabeth Wosu is close by. He did very well. And Ahmed, who is also working with, and of course, the first vice president of Nigeria Bar Association. She appears to be more interested in project than myself. She was also, she joined us at about 2 a.m., first vice, at about 2 a.m., right? And she stayed till daybreak. He stayed till daybreak, supervising to ensure the job was complete. To God be the glory. The next is sticker, the MBA card sticker. We will also be launching the MB card sticker by the grace of God at the AGM. The stickers are ready, particularly the one that we're going to use for unveiling. We've made a few for some of our leaders that will be used to unveil. Then everyone can go online and apply for the sticker. It will be made available to you just as the way we'll procure our stamp. Apply through the branch. That will ensure that nobody from outside have access to the stamp. It can only be, secured or obtained through the branch. You apply directly to national, or the branch, the national will send it to the branch where you pick it up. We will be commissioning that in the next few days, most likely at the AGM. And I must also appreciate the support of the president towards the achievements of all these projects that I've read. In the last few weeks, we have issued at least 56, and that is under applications for letters of good standing and confirmation of bad pricing fees. Applications for good standing, 56 of them. And of course, we know that application for letter of good standing comes with a token sum of 10,000 naira for administrative fee. And that means that those of our 56 members who requested for letter of good standing are either about to travel out or they are already out of the country. That is just in the last 2 months. It goes to show that a lot of our members are eager to cross the sea for greener pastures. We have also, on the legal department, in the last 2 months, we have tracked 56 cases. We tracked 60 cases. 26 of them were in the Supreme Court. 11 of them were at the Court of Appeal. 8 of them were at the Federal Court. And of course, in the Federal Court, we had 1 in Abakaliki, 5 in Abuja, 2 in Lagos. In the Court of Appeal, we had 9 in Abuja, 1 in Port Harcourt, and 1 in Makurdi. The cases are being handled absolutely on full pro bono basis for the Nigerian Bar Association by our pro bono lawyers. And we, in the course of this conference, shall appreciate these our colleagues who have been rendering free services to the Nigerian Bar Association. They have done so well. Unfortunately, we kept receiving processes almost on a weekly basis, people filing cases against the Nigerian Bar Association or just joining the Nigerian Bar Association as a party. But we have to defend those cases. And our members have been coming handy to defend us. And I can see some of them right on the front row. Alhaji Abdullahi Yahya, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Yomi Sule, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Interestingly, our amiable, very soon to be installed as the second president of the Nigerian Bar Association, has always been doing wonderfully well, rendering pro bono services to Nigerian Bar Association. It's also there, it's one of them. I can confirm that even Samuel Somiari is one of them. Yakubu Philemon, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, is also one of them. And so many of our colleagues who have been rendering pro bono services. We thank you all for what you've been doing for the Nigerian Bar Association. I move to what I tag sectoral staff promotions to salary.
This is his last NEC report, so he wants to do it.
Thank you, Mr. President.
But if you round up maybe, and you know our General Secretary is also the General Secretary of the West African Bar Association. So it's not going to stop rendering reports as General Secretary, but only for the Nigerian Bar Association. So perhaps we'll do another NEC in the next 5 days. But it will be good if you round up. Lagos State government is waiting for, High Court is
Thank you,
waiting
Mr. President.
to
I'm going to ensure that we have as many as possible of our members to be involved in the West African Bar. Take the benefit of membership of that association as well. Secretarial staff promotion structure. I had spoken about the fact that we met the secretarial, particularly the staff payment structure, in a way that the very first day he kept telling us their salary has not been improved or increased for the last 6 years or thereabouts. And they were hoping and praying that we will be the one to do something about that. Eventually, we actually did something about that. So in October 2022, we were able to increase the salary of the staff of the Nigerian Bar Association. And they are all earning far, far higher than what they are earning. But I made reference to the fact that something needs to be done about that salary structure because of some complaint of some disparity, which we were trying to address, but unfortunately we couldn't complete and conclude it. I know that the incoming administration will, take a second look at that and ensure that everyone gets what is due to them. I must to commend all the staff of the Nigerian Bar Association. I have 46 staff of Nigerian Bar Association. I started with about 38, but we're living with about 48, about 46. Of course, if we add ad hoc staff, the service contract staff, as security and cleaner, who are not permanent staff, NBA pay in excess of over 60 individual salaries every month. So that's huge, actually. But to the glory of God, these staff have been wonderful, very, very helpful, and very beautiful. Naturally, you have a few one of them who can be problematic, but I've enjoyed very good working relationship with all of them, and I commend them for the good work they've been doing. And I must appreciate the bar services, the Directorate of Bar Services Department in particular, for the very great sacrifices these gentlemen and women in that sector, that department have, undertaken to ensure that the job of the secretariat is, for any reason, not found wanting. I move to other activities, and of course, I will not waste time on that. We did AMA workshop, we did in Port Harcourt. So, yeah, we did in Port Harcourt. Earlier, we had done in Abuja, but that was reported in June. We also had Makato Foundation projects in Kebbi and in Owerri. That is actually the final lap of the Makato Foundation funded project. I believe the final reports will be prepared and made available in the course of the AGM. We had a situation that I said in one of our next meetings that was brought to the attention of the IBA by the president during one of our council meetings. That is a situation where some of our colleagues couldn't travel for IBA after paying for the conference. And the cost of IBA is in excess of $3,000, and it's not something you want to lose. So the president actually appealed that the IBA should do something about it. I was at the last council meeting we held in Bucharest, Romania, and this issue was also tabled before IBA again. We set up a committee that comprised of myself, Dr. Babatunde Ajibade, who is a council member by virtue of his election, not by appointment of MBA. We also have the Deputy Director of IBA. We have Chairman of IBA Bar Division in that committee. As at yesterday or 2 days ago, we're still exchanging emails on how to ensure that issue is resolved. Well, I will use this opportunity to talk to our members that are yet, about 2 or 3 of them are yet to send their information based on the request that they should show the day of the visa refusal. That will determine whether truly they had enough time to ask for a refund or not. About 2 of them are yet to pass the document across. So I use the opportunity to call on them to please do that so that we can get this sorted out as possible. I unfortunately mentioned, which is the last item, the death of Additional Ogulano, who is a past chairman of MBA Ikeja branch. Additional Ogulano is someone that those who know him know that was very active at the bar, an active, bar activist, an human rights activist, and of course, a very poor barman. He was welfare secretary of Ikeja. He was also secretary of the branch and later became the branch chairman. Interestingly, he was even vice chairman before he became the branch chairman. Interestingly, I served with him in Ikeja at various times while he was also serving at the branch. We lost him about 3 weeks ago, and Mr. President paid a visit to the family. Sorry, the date is not included there, but about 2 weeks ago that we paid that visit to the family of Additional Ogulano in Nakoka. President was accompanied on that trip by leaders of branch of the Ikeja branch, both the current chairman, past chairman, past executive members, myself, and I believe Mr. Wali Papon, that advocate, was also there, and of course, the chairman of Annual General Planning Committee, Annual General Conference Planning Committee was also there, and so many other people. We went to pay our Mr. President, we actually visited to pay the condolence visit on behalf of the Nigerian Bar Association to the family of Additional Ogulano. Unfortunately, just yesterday, I also received this very sad news of the passage of another of our past chairman, the past chairman of Enugu branch. It's unfortunate that Jude, that I spoke with about 3 weeks ago, because I did him a letter. I forwarded that letter to him just about 3 weeks ago, and only for me to read about his death yesterday. Sadly so. His media source record.
May I respectfully request that we all rise at this point to observe the minister. Their souls rest in peace, and may God Almighty comfort the legal community and their families. Amen.
Mr. President. In conclusion, I say that the past 2 years have been a roller coaster for me, as my experience serving in this very unique executive committee has been quite interesting, yet challenging. The journey was filled with valuable experiences managing the affairs of the secretary of our great association. However, I'm happy to say that we are leaving the secretariat far better than we met it. I give glory to God for seeing me through a very stormy journey. Without sounding immodest, I make bold to say that, to the glory of God, I've fulfilled at least 80% of my manifesto, my campaign agenda for the secretariat of Nigerian Bar Association. And I apologize for the 20% that remains unfulfilled. And please note that this is possible. This is the case because I actually wish I could have done more, but I could only fly as far as my wings could reach. I appreciate you sincerely for the privilege extended to me to serve you as your General Secretary. I wish us fruitful deliberations at this Nec meeting, and I hope that the Nec meeting and the conference that will come will be most entertaining. It is indeed going to be a conference like no other. God bless you all, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. General Secretary. We'll take the next series of reports by the national officers.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, distinguished NEC members. And it's a privilege to be before you to give this Publicity Secretary's report. The report is contained at pages 24 to 33 of the Secretariat report. I start by an introduction, and I said the first thing I did before writing this report was to take another look at my manifesto when I asked for your votes 2 years ago. To God's glory, I would say I have achieved a great percentage of what was promised, even as I took on other responsibilities not contained in my manifesto, but which were graciously assigned to me by the President of the Nigerian Bar Association, as envisaged by the provisions of the NBA Constitution.
Publicity.
Mr. President?
As you are standing there, don't stand there for one moment. Young man, you should stand. Let me recognize our elders that are here. I saw Mr. Obafemi Adewale, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. And I'm so sorry, sir, but I don't know if this embarrasses you, but anytime I see you, and you know I hold you in high esteem personally, and of course, as my professional father. And Obafemi was also part of the ESCO of the Nigerian Bar Association when I was admitted as a barrister and solicitor of the Supreme Court of Nigeria in 1990. So it's my uncle. And I know you love my uncle and you like to put your hands together for him. Thank you very much, sir. We thank you for your exemplary life. You practice law in a way that we would all like to emulate. Your respect for ethics and professionalism is one that no one can ignore. And we thank you for always being with us. You've been such a source of support, a strong pillar, someone that we always go to the few times that we did to ask for advice, and you've been very, very available, always attending our meetings. Thank you so very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. And the past General Secretary of the Nigerian Bar Association as well. I saw Are were on the same flight, Muyiwa Akimboro. I've just been told that our past president, Mrs. Priscilla Kuye, is also online. And well, Mommy, you are welcome, ma'am. Mommy, I should come and bring you to the front. Yes, that's what should happen. If they can't do it, I can do it. Yes. let's do it. It's part of my. Oh, mommy. Mommy. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, distinguished NEC members, for that honor. Thank you. So, you know, what we did was to celebrate the entrance of our past president. Now that our past president is seated, we will welcome our past president, Mrs. Priscilla Kuye, and honor her. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Wow, aren't we blessed? We are blessed. Thank you so very much, ma'am, for coming. And I must say it here that our mommy, our past president, our grandmother is one that has given me and this administration tremendous support by way of the counsel that we get. And make no mistake, you may not be seeing our grandmother in public functions, but every single thing we do in the Nigerian Bar Association, our grandmother is following every single thing that is going on. So I get calls from mommy, from grandmother to say, oh, this one you are doing, it is good. This one, do it this way. This one, do it that way. I commend you, you are doing. And that comes with a lot of encouragement. I tell you, it comes with a lot of encouragement. And grandma said to me that I would be at the conference. And just to make sure that we are comfortable, mommy decided that would grace us with her esteemed presence at this next meeting. Mommy, we thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I was recognizing Muyiwa Akimboro, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, past General Secretary, Joyce Odua, past General Secretary, Mrs. Boma Alabi, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, OON, owner of Nigeria, Chairman, Section on Legal Practice, Mr. Sami Somiari, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. The whipper is like we used to have provost of it's a provost marshal, it's a whipper. I missed Emeka General Obegolu, past General Secretary, that is still loading. I know. You owe Sule. You owe us, Sule, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. You're welcome. Abdullah Yahya, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Yakubu Philemon, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Since he became Senior Advocate of Nigeria, I cannot call him Yakubu simply because it's my namesake. When I say Yakubu, you will correct me and complete it by saying that there should be a distinction between him and other Yakubus. Yakubu Philemon, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Mr. Shehu Abimbola, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Mr. Wale Faponda, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. You know, for some of them who tried to run away from me as I exit, you would have been sitting here if it was 2 months ago. Now it's 5 days to the end of the tunnel. It's going you can't go anywhere. I will catch you anywhere you go. Senior Advocate of Nigeria. We have our Golden Aisha Ado, past Treasurer of the Nigerian Bar Association. It will seem to you that I forgot someone. I didn't. Just who else? Chinyere. Chinyere is in charge of the Women's Forum, and she's really in charge. Did I miss Abdullah Yahya, Senior Advocate of Nigeria? I did that. I did. Now back to the Golden Boy. But, oh, it's you? Because I didn't call any name. I just said Golden Boy. It could have been anyone. And then suddenly all of you started clapping and he stood up. Golden Boy. Past chairman, Abuja branch, when it was one branch. Past general secretary of the Nigerian Bar Association, who was loading, was incoming. Now he has income, permit my language, and he's almost incumbent. Mazi Apam Osigwe. Who by the grace of God Almighty and the mercy of God upon all of us and to his glory shall take over the baton. The Americans say baton of the leadership of the Nigerian Bar Association from me on the 29th of August, 2024, 5 days from today. As the 32nd president of the Nigerian Bar Association. You are welcome, sir. And I welcome all of you. I see our chairman, Lagos branch, Surulere branch, Ikeja branch, Itiosa branch, former chairman, some of them defunct chairman. Chairman Kefi, Edgar, Nuhu, Chairman Uyo, Chairman Eket, former Chairman Kano, the former handsome boy from Kano. Yes, former handsome boy, MNI. former chair Kaduna, okay, all of you. I mean, you are the reason why we have NEC. You are the reason. So put your hands together, church, for yourself. The reason why we have NEC. And thank you for coming. And Chairman John Bull, when I need somebody to charge a certain opposition, I just call John Bull, Chairman, Goa branch. Thank you very much for coming. God bless you all. Please continue.
Thank you so much, Mr. President, and former president of the Nigerian Bar Association and past general secretaries of Nigerian Bar Association. So it is with great pleasure and sincere gratitude to you, the esteemed members of NEC, that I present this report to this august body. In the last 2 years, the National Assistant Publicity Secretary, Charles Olawale Ajiboye, and my good self have worked towards entrenching a positive public perception for the legal profession, while also reinvigorating our communication system to make information dissemination to members most responsive. Permit me, therefore, to render this report in line with the provisions of Section 951, which provides for the duties of the NBA Publicity Secretary. Now, we have added this report in different segments. One of the first things that we did was to overhaul the information dissemination system of the Nigerian Bar Association. I know that many of you even complain these days of the number of emails that you receive from the Nigerian Bar Association. We're able to achieve this because first thing we did was to set up a new mailing system for the Nigerian Bar Association, which made our interaction with you by emails quite personal. We also curated NBA email senders because we appreciate the fact that the Nigerian Bar Association has different and various organs. We have committees, we have sections, we have institutes. And so when you receive a mail, either from the publicity secretary, you know what you can expect. And when you receive these days from the NBA committee, you know what to expect. When you receive from the institute of the NBA, you know what to expect. Before now, the only thing you would see in emails is just Nigerian Bar Association. And of course, for younger people, it became almost boring for them to even follow the NBA. Another thing we did was that we introduced for the first ever time the Nigerian Bar Association official blog. I'm sure most of you have seen that blog. The website is blog.nigerianbar.org.ng. That blog has become a veritable source for official information about the Nigerian Bar Association. One thing it has also done is that with that blog, we have reduced the cost that the Nigerian Bar Association would ordinarily incur. Before now, the Nigerian Bar Association used to pay Nigerian lawyers, Barrister NG, all those bloggers that you and I know, about almost 90,000 naira every quarter. But the moment we introduced our own blog, we stopped that payment, and it has helped us to cut costs while also ensuring that we give the right news and information to our members. Knowing full well that the world is becoming digital, we also set up, and Charles was very instrumental to that, to the introduction of the NBA WhatsApp channel. Because, and as we speak today, we have no less than 3,864 followers on that WhatsApp channel. That has opened the Nigerian Bar Association to that digital space. And with that, you can receive information from the NBA without necessarily having to chat on WhatsApp. We encourage members to join that channel on WhatsApp. Another thing we have done was to effectively handle the social media of the Nigerian Bar Association. When we came on board, the NBA Twitter account had just about 20,000 followers. As we speak today, after 2 years, the Nigerian Bar Association Twitter account has 41,000 unique followers. I think we deserve a round of applause for that, please. Thank you. And the Instagram account of the Nigerian Bar Association is now verified, and we have also increased followership on that Instagram account. What it means is that people can now respect when they see any information on that kind of account, that it is actually verifiable and it is original from the Nigerian Bar Association. Through these handles, the NBA communicates not only with members, but with the general public. In 2023, we also launched the NBA TV, which is a YouTube channel that hosts literally all the programs of the Nigerian Bar Association. One of the flagship programs that we hosted was actually the manifesto of the present during the electoral committee of the Nigerian Bar Association manifesto day. We hosted that manifesto on the NBA TV through the YouTube channel, and a whole lot of people actually keyed into that. Another thing that we have done is that we have also strengthened public engagements. How did we achieve this? We organized press conferences. And for the first time in the history of the Nigerian Bar Association, the president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Mr. Yakubu Chonoko Mekia, OONSAN, actually hosted 2 State of the Nation dialogues. In fact, in 2023, we hosted a proper State of the Nation dialogue where we invited the leading candidates of political parties. And with that forum, the Nigerian Bar Association kind of sets the agenda for the incoming administration in the country. Of course, during the election, we also did a lot of election monitoring, and we had good media engagement during the 2023 election. We also, I'm sure that you would have tuned into your TV and you would see the president addressing Nigerians on topical issues in our polity. That was something that we also achieved. Now, what we also did was that we used our public engagement to call attention to the issue of discipline. Because when members do not believe that we have a very good internal disciplinary procedure, it has a way of affecting the perception that they see lawyers. They believe that a lawyer can do anything and nothing is going to happen. So we have turned attention deliberately on the issue of discipline of our colleagues. And in that wise, even though my office, through the General Secretary, we did write letters and official communication to the body of benchers to allow us to publish directions of the LPDC. But as I speak to you today, those letters have not been honored. However, just some few days before today, for the first time ever, the LPDC actually sent to me, in my official capacity, some notices that some lawyers have been punished or sanctioned for some professional misconduct. And for the first time, the NBA actually shared those notices across board on social media and even traditional media. And the kind of traction it's gained, it's made members to know, members of the public to also know that lawyers would actually be disciplined. And what followed after that dissemination of that news was a lot of members calling me to know what did these lawyers do. So we see that we can actually address the issue of discipline in our profession if we could do some bit of naming and shaming and making members to know that we have that internal mechanism to actually correct misconduct amongst our members. So another thing that we did was to amplify the challenges of the Nigerian judiciary. And I will say congratulations, a huge congratulations to the president of the Nigerian Bar Association. Please, it deserves a round of applause, please. Because the NBA president and the Law Reform Committee chairman, Mr. Wale Pakonda, actually took that issue by the scruffs. And today, I am happy to announce, like we all know, that the Judicial Officers Remuneration Act has been passed that has now increased the salaries of judicial officers in Nigeria by about 300%. I can tell you that the NBA under Yakubu Chonoko Mekiao achieved this. And we did that by ensuring that we did a lot of advocacy on the issue of challenges in the Nigerian judiciary. Now, one other thing we did, which is very critical, but maybe members might not see it, was that we actually, for the first time, made efforts to institutionalize the media and publicity department of the Nigerian Bar Association. And even though the GS has apologized to me, we did this, Charles and I, without even, as we speak today, having a functional office where we could even sit at the MBA secretariat. I hope that the incoming administration will deliberately correct situations like this. But notwithstanding these challenges, because of the support that we enjoy from the president and the executive committee, and even the GS himself, we were able to manage media events for the MBA. So before the MBA would get compared to handle MBA events and pay millions of naira to them, millions of naira for people that might not even be able to establish protocol, people that would call the Chief Justice of Nigeria the Chief Judge of Nigeria. But Charles and I started handling MBA activities, media activities ourselves. And with that, we cut costs. And not only that, we put a face to the activities of the Nigerian Bar Association by also taking control of the narratives that go out there about all the things that we do at the Nigerian Bar Association. Now, for the first time in the history of the Nigerian Bar Association, you would see some young, enthusiastic lawyers working at this annual general conference. They are volunteers. We brought out the AGCPC and we debunked all the myths that you must know the president or you must know the general secretary before you could actually contribute your own quota to the MBA. So we issued a notice that if you're a lawyer between 1 year and 5 years, come around and volunteer for the MBA. As I speak to you now, we have young Nigerian lawyers, no less than 70, working for the MBA media at this agency, volunteering their time and talent for the Nigerian Bar Association. I think these young people deserve a round of applause. And they all registered for the conference. It's not even free. They're all registered for the conference. So that's something that we have been able to do. To the glory and, of course, to the credit of the General Secretary of the Nigerian Bar Association and the President, for the first time in recent time, the Nigerian Bar Association Media and Publicity Department now has a staff. This staff, her name is Stella, has been quite instrumental in the work that we have been doing, particularly in managing the MBA official blog. So thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. General Secretary, for that effort also. Now, another thing we have done, or what we did, the reasons why you got, or why you were getting so much information from the MBA in this administration is not because of the work that Charles and I only did. It's because of the work that your publicity secretaries in your respective branches also did. The Institute publicity secretaries, the Fora publicity secretaries, all of them, Charles and I are grateful to them. And we were able to coordinate them because we were able to keep them on a forum. So when we give any information or we have any information from the national, they easily disseminate to respective branches fora. And it also assisted us in getting feedback from the branches on that platform, and we're able to relate it to the MBA president and general secretary. Now, speaking of recommendation, I will recommend very seriously a proper and deliberate investment in the media and publicity department of the Nigerian Bar Association. I said that I had promised in my manifesto that I was going to improve on the toll-free that I initiated as Assistant Publicity Secretary in 2019. But, dear members, I could not even get started because on return to the Secretariat, the whole project had become moribund. And unfortunately, the MBA lacks the staffing ability and capacity to receive members' complaints through the toll-free line. But if we have a working and effective media and publicity department, people can handle that. They can be trained because we have a staff, a very quite diligent staff. His name is Wale. He handles our IT issues. But Wale cannot be working on IT and still be receiving complaints from members. So MBA has to critically invest in the media and publicity department. And I do hope that that's something that the incoming administration will be able to take on. There is no need for MBA to be hiring graphic designer. It's in fact, quite discomforting. We should have people doing this kind of thing in-house, video reels and everything. Literally everything that you see on social media, Charles and I would have to do it with our own hands. It can't continue like that. The NBA is an association made for 21st century. And if we are going to have our pride of place, then we have to invest in very important things like this. These are things that can change narrative about the Nigerian Bar Association. Lastly, on the issue of recommendation, our members, all of you, when you throw a stone to the market, it would eat somebody that you know, if it doesn't even eat you or your child. Every day, I don't have a problem giving the right perception about this legal profession to members of the public. Because whatever a lawyer says, any lawyer, they seem to believe, or it is our members that will say MBA is bad, that will say a judge is corrupt, without proof. And even me as publicity secretary, I'll be saying something is wrong. The lawyer will come and say, "Nah, lie, you they lie." So, and it will destroy this profession by this public condemnation on social media every now and again without facts. There is a difference between criticism and condemnation. If we condemn this association, we are all going to be losers. So we have to be deliberate, criticize, constructive criticism, or to go condemn the association every now and again at every smallest opportunity. We are only doing ourselves, because we are going to leave this stage with that. We are leaving already, but the NBA remains. And if you kill it, you won't have it again. So that's a recommendation that I would like to give. Now, finally, in conclusion, the last 2 years have not been without its challenges. But with the leadership offered by the NBA president, we have been able to thrive. Thank you so much, Mr. President. I'm privileged to work under you as NBA Publicity Secretary, and may Almighty God continue to bless you and keep you for the opportunity that you have given to me and Charles to grow and to contribute our quota to this legal profession. Thank you so much. It's heartfelt. Thank you, Mr. President, and may God bless you. May God keep you. Solomon Magaji, I'm not sure he's here. I'm not sure Solomon is here, but he might be walking around. Look at him. Please stand up. Solomon Magaji is an incredible human being. He's the MBA ICT consultant, but I literally poached him to be on the publicity team. So please, Solomon, come out. Come out. Please come. Solomon is a very humble giant expert. He's smart and creative. And for all the ideas that Charles and I have, Solomon brings it to life. In all honesty, as publicity secretaries, we couldn't have achieved all these modest things I said we have achieved without the expertise of Solomon. Solomon, thank you, and may God bless you. I also work closely with Wale Efuakwe and Stella Akupwe. They are two MBA staff members who work closely and tirelessly with Charles and I. Most days, they work beyond their closing time and even late midnight, because the publicity secretary will not allow them to rest. Their dedication to duty is very commendable. At the level of the different committees that I have had to lead the publicity team, I've also worked with dedicated MBA members. I thank the law bloggers, even though now I removed some money from their hands, but I still thank them and I apologize. All I did was to ensure that the MBA cut costs. I also thank the passionate young lawyers volunteers at this conference who have given me hope that the MBA is actually in good hands. Damilola Alabi, the Secretary of the Media and Publicity Department, subcommittee of the Annual General Conference Planning Committee, is such a sterling and hardworking individual. I also thank her. Now, please, Charles, stand up. Please stand up, Charles. This job, this publicity job, was done with Mr. Charles Olawale Ajiboye, the MBA Assistant Publicity Secretary. At the executive committee level, we call him the star boy. And honestly, he's our star. He's a star boy. I was assistant publicity secretary between 2018 and 2020. And with all modesty, I pride myself as a very wonderful one. But I think Charles may just have aged me in that regard. Our long late night conversations, even till today, our shared passion, the blames we received on behalf of one another, our agreement to work and work for our members. Charles, I know you lost the election. And honestly, I am partly responsible for it. Because the time you needed to campaign, I didn't allow you to. I would bother you. Your campaign to me was not an excuse not to do the job that we had sworn to do. Charles, you fought fairly. You had an advantage that others would have happily squeezed, but you chose not to. Charles, you are the most creative publicity secretary the NBA may never have. And with all respect to all of you, this is NBA's loss and not yours, Charles. Thank you, brother, for making the difficult times bearable. Again, please have a seat. Round of applause for Charles again, please. Again, distinguished NEC members, I wish to thank you for the mandate you gave me. I thank my family for giving me the space, and I thank Almighty Allah for His grace. Indeed, Alhamdulillah. Wishing us all a most fulfilling NEC meeting. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Publicity, and thank you so much. Thank you. And Mr. Publicity, he actually committed his time, his resources for the Nigerian Bar Association to serve in this office. And well, he did that on his own, but that also gave him a lot of time or more time or the leverage to do the job, moving his family to Canada. That is a sacrifice that he made that gave him so much time. So unlike Charles, when I call him at 2 a.m., he'll be awake because no family. But when I look for Charles at 11 p.m., well, he doesn't pick the call, but I assume he'll be snoring somewhere. So thank you so very much, and God bless you. And you remember the last NEC meeting we had. That's why I would carry a while until the publicity secretary speaks. When he does, I simply will adopt what he says as my address, because he would have said everything that we had done in the past couple of months before that meeting. I thank you so very much for that report. Yes, do we have any other reports? Well, no other report. So can I ask that the two reports presented by the General Secretary and the Publicity Secretary be adopted? Before discussion, who moves? Yes, please introduce yourself and who's holding the mic? That's what you do in court. Probably not without mic. So go ahead. Naji. Okay, the mic is coming just.
EW branch of Nigeria Bar Association. The president, CB Naji.
CB Nachi, Chairman, Emily.
Emily Branch. May I adopt?
You move
Okay, may I move
for the adoption
for the adoption of that
of the report,
reports
General Secretary,
of the Publicity Secretary.
General Secretary, and Publicity Secretary.
The General Secretary first. I don't think I will adopt that of at the same time. If I'll be allowed to adopt, may I adopt both that of the General Secretary and that of the Publicity Secretary, both of them, and set them out for discussion.
Chairman Kefi.
Thank you very much.
Come. You have only you just.
Mr. President, distinguished elected members, I am Nuhu J. Eja, Chairman, Kefi Branch. Mr. President, may I second the motion moved by my everyone chair in the branch for the adoption of the report presented by the General Secretary and Publicity Secretary. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Chairman Kefi. The reports are available. They are at your disposal. Any comments or remarks on the reports presented by the General Secretary and the Publicity Secretary? Well said, explicit, understood, and you agreed with everything they presented. They've done well. You have an objection? What?
Mr. Chairman, the national president, sir.
I know the chairman.
I know. I said the national president.
And even on the 28th, the potency of the office.
Until then, sir.
Go ahead, please.
Sir, the motion has been moved and adopted. I believe if it is for comment, I would like to comment on the report of the General Secretary.
Okay, go ahead.
With regards to the stamp and seal, the way he presented it is.
Tell us your name, please, for the records. We want to get your name. And
my name is Bona Ora Eko, Chairman Oka Branch.
Okay. Yeah, so you have a question rather for the General Secretary.
Yes, sir.
What is your question?
If I would put it by word of question, is a number of our members and complied fully with the procedure for the stamp and seal. Last general meeting, we have promised, next meeting, we have promised that all of them will get their copies. I personally went to the secretariat and contacted the people involved, the same promises. The letter sent 3 badges or 3 copies, if I will call it like that, for 3 persons, then another 8, another 1. I now wrote the PA to the national president and a lady in charge did a reply. But up till now, we have not gotten it. So I'm pleading, if there is anything that can be done or what can be done to ensure that we get all these things. And now that it remaining only 5 days, as you said, or 4, let it be cleared so that our new executive will start on a very clean note, especially with we will commend you for the innovation of the keeper stamp and seal. But let's clear this one before we enter the next one. National President, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. This is something that I believe I can I can respond to. I know we had challenges with the stamps, no doubt. But the challenges or the problems with the stamps is not completely that of the Secretariat, meaning it is not completely our fault. But you see, whenever you are in position of responsibility, you take responsibility even when you are not responsible for what has happened. Many of the times when I got calls, and I'll give you an example of a very senior lawyer, a friend of mine, who called me to say that he had applied for his stamp for 3 months. He hadn't gotten his stamps. I sent him Grace Eagle's number. I said, please call her. Well, he did that reluctantly. We were chatting with him. I didn't speak with him, but I could see, literally sense the reluctance. He did it, got across to her, and I had already prompted her and asked her to check the status of his application. Truth of the matter is that he started the application, but couldn't complete it. He thought he did. He hadn't completed the application because the application would prompt you to upload your branch dues. And we did that. And that is one of the things, the ingenuity of the Solomon that the publicity secretary spoke about. I mean, the consultant. For the branches, so that people would not pay bar practicing fee, get their stamps, and not meet their obligations to the branches. We said we would upload that. You have to upload your branch dues. He did not do that, and so he couldn't complete. And when you don't complete it, you don't submit. So the application was hanging. He never submitted it. But he literally insulted Grace. I had to beg Grace. He abused her, did not do it. When we even sent it back to him to show that, look, you did not even apply, because these are the processes you have to go through to apply. Maybe out of shame of what he did, he waited another 1 month to complete it. Or maybe he had to now pay his branch dues because at the time he hadn't paid. Maybe, but he didn't apply immediately, even when we told him what to do. He waited another 1 month, completed it, and we sent the stamp to him. He did not say sorry to Grace that he abused. He didn't say sorry to me for the unpleasant remarks he made to me, but we told him sorry. He completed it, we sent the stamps. There was also this problem with the vendor. We explained that. And I had in the platform, WhatsApp platform with the chairman, explained the difficulty, and we called him to ask him to make sure that these stamps are produced so that all of us will go on with our businesses with the integrity that the stamp brings to our work. But you should understand that the stamp is not produced in this country. The Nigerian printing and minting is not able to give us the security features, that, unfortunately so, but that is the truth, that we have on our stamp. These stamps are produced out of the country. You would agree with me also that the cost of producing these stamps has skyrocketed with the exchange rate. And we have not changed the contract. The amount that was paid 2015 is what this same person still collects from us for the stamp. And don't forget that we make complimentary stamps. And what we decided to do to alleviate that problem this year was to anticipate that everyone who paid his bar practicing fee last year would pay this year. And directed him to produce stamps on the basis of those who paid last year, just so that we will reduce the waiting time, and also send complimentary stamps. So those stamps that were earlier produced, some of you got stamps, even when you were not entitled to. I saw some people who didn't even pay bar practicing fee for this year, got stamps. And they sent a message to me to say that if I didn't pay last year, how did I get a stamp? This is why you got the stamp. You didn't pay, but you got stamp because we were proactive, to use the slogan of Mazi, proactive bar. We were proactive. We produced these stamps ahead, anticipating that you will pay because we know you are law-abiding, would want to have your practice license and practice. But some of them didn't because they got, and when we sent it to the branches, instead of insisting that show us your bar practicing fee for 2024 and show us your bar, your branch dues, and then they give you the stamp, they decided to be magnanimous. And some got their stamps as a result of that arrangement, and they didn't bother to pay their bar practicing fees. So, and as I speak to you, we were on the neck of that vendor who had to import the material at great cost. The materials came in like 2 weeks ago, and he started printing. So if you look at your stamp, everything green on your stamp is produced from out of this country. So when he comes here and we give him information about the payment of bar practicing fee, he takes that information name by name and the SC number. He would key all those details in his machine and print the stamp, customizes the stamp for you. That is the process. We even toyed with the idea of, in fact, I was sitting in my office and serendipitously got the information about where the stamps are produced in the UK. Somebody said to me, oh, I walked into a security printing because he is also into security printing. And I saw your stamp. I said, oh, wow. So where is it? He said, oh, it's so he gave me the details. Of course, you know your vendors would not want you to get that information. Even though when we started, he was given exclusivity, but the period of that exclusivity has expired. That stamp is our franchise, is our own. We can give it to anybody who can produce that stamp, or even with better security features. For us, we can give it to just anybody. But I tell you the truth, my finding, the cost of producing that stamp is prohibitive, relatively so, because number one, what you pay for the stamp cannot produce it. Including the fact that we give complimentary stamp. So he's running, and I can tell you that for free at a loss, but he had to continue because I refused to negotiate an upward review of that, of the stamp. I refused. I said to him jokingly that, and he's my namesake, his name is Yakubu too. I said, when my predecessor was in office, you didn't ask for review. It's when your namesake came. I said, no, I will not do it. But going into the administration and getting to know all these things, I discovered that really that a deserving situation has arisen for an upward review. But then we got him to bring in these materials and all pending applications, and I tell you, all pending applications have been dealt with. And the stamps have been dispatched 4 days ago. All. We do not have a single, including Oka, we do not have a single pending application untreated. We don't. All applications have been treated and you will receive your stamps. So we didn't, and we said we would be responsible not to leave any backlog to the incoming administration. So it's been sent to all the branches. Also, I apologize for the delay. These are just some of the reasons why we encountered the delays, but it has been resolved. We actually thought we could establish a unit in the secretariat by the machine, because the machine just comes, it's just to print. You key in the details of Aisha Ado and her SC number, and you print as many, the same way you print this, the same way you print your letter. It will fit directly on the stamp and will produce the Are Onakakafo of MBA, it is SC number, Are Muyiwa Akimboro. It will produce it. But the machine, we have to get, the staff, we have to train. We also now have to go and procure the stamps, assuming we can have 10 million of those sheets. All we need to do is every year, succeeding years, you will just put in the details of those that have paid and print. So those of you who have stamps this year, who did not pay back practicing fee, we know you. Yes, we know you because and you got stamps not because you paid, but because we just wanted to close that gap. We took a decision, okay, print, give the complimentary stamps in anticipation that you would pay. Some of you didn't pay, and we know some of you, but we leave it at that because it's 5 days to go. So we are doing you parting gifts. So that is the situation, brother. And in appreciation of that challenge and the difficulties, by the special grace of God, we came up with this idea of the digital stamp. That will solve our problem seamlessly. And it is also a way of migrating from our analog system of doing things to the digital world, which is the way the entire world is going to. And we did that because we have to support the initiative of the judiciary, the NJC particularly, to digitize the courts and the court processes. Some of you practice in jurisdictions where you file processes online. You file processes electronically. So for those of you who have started that in your jurisdictions, all you need to do once you get this digital stamp is to put it on your document. And that digital stamp is simply awesome. On a blockchain technology, if there is any attempt to tamper with the stamp, it will send a signal, a red flag to the back end, both to the NBA and those other places that have the responsibility of looking at the back end. And every single document, if you have 1,000-page document, every single page will bear the stamp. And you can scan it. Everybody, the public, can use the QR code. It will have a QR code, scan it, and every stamp is customized. I mean, it's unique to the process. You won't see the details on the stamp, but if you scan it, if it is Itiosa versus Ikeja, that is the name of the process or document, it's embedded in it. That is how, it generates the stamp and it carries the security. So in the process of affixing the stamp, it even gives you a placeholder, a position for a placeholder, so that you don't waste your stamp. You put a placeholder there, continue with your process, do your vetting, your amendments, and it would ask you first whether you are ready to affix the stamp before you do so. So that once you affix the stamp, all the pages will bear the stamp and it is secure. So it's also something that we've done to deal with the perennial challenges that we've been experiencing with respect to stamps. So please, just be patient. I'm sure before you go back home from this conference, your stamps would have arrived. And you know, we are still accountable to you even after leaving office and handing over to the Mazi-led administration. Call us, we'll answer questions as much as we can. Of course, don't call us directly. You can call us through the next president who will summon us and would come and give explanation. We are still accountable to you. We are still ready to give account of our stewardship to all of you. So I thank you very much, Oka Branch. Any other comments or questions on the report? Well, if not, Mommy, I don't know. Are you going to stay with us till? I don't want to keep you till we finish, man. If you would like to leave at some point. Okay. Thank you very much. Now, like I said, the publicity secretary has done most of my work, and I will still have a chance to say a word, but as you have listened to both the general secretary and the publicity secretary, we are in our valedictory mode. But just a recap of some of the things that we did. You would recall arising from that meeting, that minutes of meeting, we talked about Surulere branch. We established Surulere and Itiosa branch. We established caretaker committees, and the caretaker committees have already conducted elections, and they have elected their ESCOs. That is why we have the chairman and the secretaries here, and Neke Surulere and Mr. Sani. For please, you stand to be recognized. These are the chairman of Itiosa and branches. We congratulate you for emerging as the leaders of the branch, and we are sure that you continue to do the work that your branch members have elected you to do. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Similarly, the Degema branch we had to also set up a caretaker committee. That has been resolved. They also have conducted their elections, and they have a new ESCO in place. The chair of the Degema branch, you are here. Yes, thank you very much. You are welcome, and congratulations too. We also had Katagum branch in Bauchi, Katagum branch in Bauchi. That is the chairperson of the branch. No, the chair of the caretaker committee. Yes, they are yet to organize an election, and I know they will do very soon. That is Fadimatu Muhammad, the chair. By the way, she's also a DCR at the Court of Appeal, Gobe Division, the Court of Appeal. Within the last period, at the last meeting, gentlemen, a decision was taken about some of our colleagues who rode on the back of the Nigerian Bar Association to get to where they are, and have decided to go the other way of what they describe as NLS. We should have been Nigerian Law School. And that is all we know it to be. Perhaps that is why we are here today at NLS. We know no other NLS than Nigerian Law School. But those who try to craft that, one of them, past General Secretary, a decision was taken, and we've communicated that decision to him by a letter in compliance with the instruction given to us by NEC. We also had the first National Human Rights Conference convened by the Human Rights Institute of the Nigerian Bar Association on the 17th of July, 2024. We also had the Speedel Conference on the 18th of July, 2024. I'm sure the chairman of the caretaker committee of Speedel is here. Perhaps he would have a report. I'm sorry, I recognize Mr. Steve Adehi, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Chair, Caretaker Committee of Chair of Speedel, and also Mr. Garba Tentengi, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, MNI, Chair of the General Purpose Committee of the Nigerian Bar Association. In your absence, Mustafa made an observation about your name that was spelled wrongly. And we all agreed that you deserve to have your name properly written, and we apologize to you, sir. You recall the case of Mr. Pius Awoke from Bakiliki branch, who was detained. He was detained, but you know the information that went out, and that is part of what Publicity Secretary was talking about. If we control the narrative, because we tell the stories, knowing that we have all the facts, you know, we would avoid oversensitization, sensationalization of these stories. This was someone, yes, rightly or wrongly, was detained by an order of court. And there were findings by the court about the fact that he belongs to an organization that has been branded by law as a terrorist organization, you know, and he was in the process of going to do something heinous and all of that. It's a finding of the court. And you know how I would treat someone who is accused of theft or stealing. It's not going to be the same as the way you would handle somebody who is accused of the offense of terrorism. And I'm not making a case for detention of anyone beyond the period that has been constitutionally prescribed. Actually, we condemn such detentions. But when the story was told, there was no reference to the fact that there was a court order. Yes, there was also, that court order also mandated that he should be charged to court within a certain period of time. But it's our responsibility to put all the information in the public domain. Anyway, we approached the Department of State Security Service, and he was released. And after about 3 years of detention, and we also got a young man, a student, who was traveling with him. He happened to be that young man's uncle or cousin. He was traveling with him. You know, someone who was a computer engineering student of the University of, I think there is a state university in Eboyin, you know, was traveling with him. Maybe he's also sharing in the thoughts of what they were doing. And he was caught in the same process, and he's been detained. So he lost 3 years. He was in his final year. But we got him also released from detention to the glory of God. Hopefully he's back in school now. And that. So we took our campaign with respect to the anti-money laundering guidelines. I said to you at the last meeting that I will write to the governor of Central Bank, which I did. I wrote to him. I had a meeting with the governor of Central Bank, and I requested of him in that letter that he should direct all banks to lift that order that had been given to the banks by the CBN, that we are classified as what is it, designated non-financial institution or something, and I would require to fill or complete SCUML and get SCUML certificate. We said no, we are not. And you recall all the reports that I gave about the rules of professional conduct, how that we decided to bring in the anti-money laundering guidelines in the rules of professional conduct to demonstrate our good faith and readiness and preparedness to self-regulate. And we took that, it was passed by the General Council of the Bar. That was the amendment of the rules of professional conduct. And we began our sensitization program on the AML guidelines, which was well received by members. And we wanted to do another one in Kano, but the protest, it fell during the period of the protest. And the final one should have been in Lagos. That hasn't happened. But in order to further demonstrate our seriousness, we embarked on the gazetting of the protocols and the guidelines for the operation of the committee that this NEC established. That has been gazetted, and there was also a judgment by one of our colleagues who went to court to challenge the provisions of the Money Laundering Act of 2022. You would recall that the action that was filed by NBA was against the provisions of the 2011 Act. They were all struck now, and that the court held that they couldn't apply to us lawyers because of the confidentiality provisions of the Evidence Act and also Section 36, because all of these are hinged on the provision of Section 36 of the Constitution. Well, in the course of our engagement, we told them that, look, even though you've gone to enact a 2022 law, that 2022 law did not successfully circumvent the judgment of the court that CBN is appealing at the Supreme Court. It didn't. And that judgment is still potent. Well, they thought they did. And in our own rules of professional conduct, because that had been our mindset, if you check, there was no reference at all to the Money Laundering Act of 2022, because we didn't reckon with it as applicable to us in the conduct of our professional responsibilities. Because you must draw a line between when you are working or practicing as a lawyer from when you are doing other transactions that brings civic responsibilities on you other than as a lawyer. For instance, you don't need to be, when you are acting as a lawyer or not, you cannot go and do as an individual a transaction in cash more than the approved limit. So all of those things you are bound by, but practicing as a lawyer, what you should do when you are dealing with your client for the purpose of anti-money laundering and financing, counter-terrorism financing and all of that, they are not, I mean, we didn't subscribe to the provisions of the Money Laundering Act of 2022. Anyway, that decision from the Federal High Court struck down the same provisions that they brought back, you know, in thinking that they've circumvented that the judgment of the Supreme Court. So it confirmed our position that we've always told them, and it reinforces our position, and now they would be forced to come and look the way of the self-regulation that we are talking about, so that we can strengthen the process and continue to do our work without scaring our clients, while we also perform our responsibility as lawyers. So we would hand over all these documents, the gazettes, to the next administration, but of course, before them, they would have been made public to all of us. That also includes the guidelines that this NEC approved at the last NEC, the guidelines for the remuneration committee at the last NEC. Well, in the course of our administration, like you can see in the Secretariat report, 2 of our national officers wedded. Daniel Kip, who was available until sometime in June 13th. Yes, June 13th. He took a wife who is also a member of the profession. He got married. He married a lawyer. And also Chinyere Obasi. She had her wedding here at the Nigerian Law School. So distinguished NEC members, I've issued a number of statements and letters in the course of the last couple of months. I will be mentioning, well, those letters have been all circulated because every statement and every letter that I issued were all sent to your mails. I would be asking NEC to ratify all those letters which you have received earlier. Maybe for want of time, I will just mention them so that they can be captured in the record. I did issue a statement on the 8th of July with respect to the Samoa agreement. I issued a statement on Monday, the 29th July 2024. That was recent with respect to the protest. There was also a letter that I wrote to the Inspector General of Police on the establishment of observatory centers and deployment of pro bono lawyers. It was reported that that was done for the purpose of serving the protesters. No, my letter, just part of it was written. Our responsibility is to the entire public. We even have a responsibility to the law enforcement agents themselves. We do. If we find anything that happened to them wrongly, we have a responsibility to speak for them. That is where we stand as lawyers. We don't stand only for a particular people, of course, more for the oppressed. But even if the person who is in service is found to have been molested by civilians, by other non-law enforcement agents, we have a responsibility to draw attention to that and also deal with it. So that was meant to serve the entire public during that period of the protest. I've talked about all the notices that we issued for the establishment of the caretaker committees. There is also I issued also another statement on the salaries and allowances of judicial officers, which the publicity secretary talked about. That was on the 21st of August, 2024. Another caretaker committee for Lafia branch has a caretaker committee, and I'm sure they will conduct an election very soon. Ile-Ife branch also has a caretaker committee. Damaturu branch has a caretaker committee as well. I issued a statement on the dissolution of standing and ad hoc committees, save for the appeal committees for the branch elections and the AGCPC and the National Elections Appeal Committee. Like I said, the withdrawal of the privileges that inured to Mr. Nimiwan Sanjak as past General Secretary. And in the course of between the last NEC and now, Mr. Steve Abba, who happened to be a member of NEC, co-opted member of NEC, after participating in the deliberation on the 20th of June, where a decision was taken about those who promote Nigerian Law Society, only for me to see a publication with him as the General Secretary of the Nigerian Law Society. I reached out to him to say, my friend, how come? I didn't know that you had been with them all along. Well, he didn't deny it. And subject to your approval, I said, you sat in that meeting. That decision was taken. You were part of it. You went out to flout the decision that NEC took, I wrote to him to say, you have ceased to be a member of NEC because you were part of the agreement that anyone who participates in that and supports that endeavor should not be allowed to enjoy any privilege that accrues to him. And I will be seeking your approval, your endorsement of that action. You would also recall that on the 29th of February this year, NEC took a decision removing the ESCO of SPIDA and appointed a caretaker committee chaired by Mr. Steve Ade. But the duo of Martins Aipopo, John Martins Aipopo, my good friend, and Fumi Adeogun have continued to parade themselves, signing letters, issuing letters and communications and publications as the chairman and secretary of SPIDA. That is not correct because the decision of NEC has not been suspended or set aside in any form. And we've taken some actions against that, and we'll be asking for NEC approval to take actions to enforce the decision of NEC, because NEC cannot take a decision to say you are not Mr. A, and you go out and continue to insist, using the material of the Nigerian Bar Association to send out communication, literally misrepresenting to the public that you remain an occupant of that office. So, distinguished NEC members, I will be asking NEC to ratify these actions and give us approval. That's why I said to the chairman, Oka, that in 5 days, we can do a lot. We are still here. And I like the optimism expressed by the General Secretary, who said that we will do a lot more are coming before we leave office. So on Thursday, the 22nd of August, by the special grace of God, I attended the valedictory court session held in honor of my Lord Honorable Justice Olukayode Ariwola, GCON, now past former Chief Justice of Nigeria. And I delivered a statement to congratulate him and pray for him as he retired, for God to continue to keep him and strengthen him in his retirement. I also congratulated on your behalf, on our behalf, the incoming Chief Justice of Nigeria, my Lord Honorable Justice KMO Kekere Ekun, who was sworn in yesterday by the President and Commander-in-Chief Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, as the acting Chief Justice of Nigeria. I was privileged to be in attendance. I witnessed the swearing in, and that for me signaled the last action or the last duty that I performed or would perform with the courts as president of the Nigerian Bar Association. So my participation at that valedictory court session would be my last, was my last assignment as president of the Nigerian Bar Association. And so at this point, we've talked about some publications. We have also, in the course of our advocacy, that Mr. Publicity Secretary talked about. We had publications for the review of the salaries and allowances of judicial officers. You know, we did a lot. We did a lot, and it is not just sounding to sound. I mean, I'm reporting to the family, so we are not sounding immodest here. We were the ones that did this with your support. So we had this very strong advocacy, and thankfully, Mr. Wale Faponda, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, was has been very supportive in that regard. You know, he stands very tall. Sometimes they mistake him for the president of the Nigerian Bar Association, but he's not. He's not. I just gave him a nickname of an alternate president. So just to make him happy. But that it takes more than being tall to be to be president of the Nigerian Bar Association. If you want to know what, go and ask. I can tell you, but you can also do consultation with Mazi Afam Osigwe. You go to Idemili branch, go to Zuru branch, go to Ado-Ekiti branch, all. Then when you come back and you succeed. So it's not a function of height. Anyway, Mr. Wale Faponda, thank you so very much for that support that you have given to me. So we had that. We had also advocacy notes on police reform, advocacy notes on the reforms of the correctional service, you know, all through the justice sector reform. And for the first time in the history of this country, we had a joint hosted justice sector summit by the NJC, the judiciary, the Attorney General's office, and the Nigerian Bar Association, at the end of which we co-signed a communique by the Chief Justice of Nigeria, the Nigerian Bar Association, and the Attorney General of the Federation. Such never happened in the history of this country. It never happened. And we achieved that by engaging with them. We engage them. When we go there, we tell them that this is not right. And you will see that in our advocacy notes, which we made public. We didn't have to go to social media and begin to talk about those things. We sat with them and said, well, my Lord, this one cannot work. This one has been like this. We have tried this. It hasn't worked. We have to change it. This is our recommendation. We gave it to them. We never shy away from telling them all those things. But you know, it is how you go about telling them. But that engagement brought about that communique, and you see far-reaching recommendations in that communique and in our advocacy notes, including scrapping some of the institutions or rejigging them in order to strengthen the institutions to deliver on the works that they've been established to do. And so, again, just to yab in appreciating Mr. Wale Faponda, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, past former Attorney General of Ekiti State. Meanwhile, his predecessor is also sitting down here. So he cannot molest me, he can't do anything. But he was one of the tallest elite aides that I had as president of the Nigerian Bar Association. Thank you very much, Mr. Faponda. And Nec is clapping for you. Thank you. So, Mommy, I'm grateful to God that you came today for this Nec meeting. Earlier on, Mrs. Hirat Balogun was here. And before she left, I took the privilege and the liberty to present to Mommy Hirat Balogun an effort that this administration put together. The Nigerian Bar Association and legal practice in this country has a rich history, and you are part of that history of the Nigerian Bar Association and the legal profession in this country. Nigeria exported and still exports legal expertise all over the world. When we visited The Hague this year in March, we saw the footprints and the efforts of great men from Nigeria that went to the Hague International Court of Justice, Permanent Court of Arbitration, International Criminal Court, and did a wonderful job in those places. You meet people from Uganda, they will tell you Udo Udoma is the father of the judiciary in Uganda. And for me, throughout my administration, one statement that has kept me going, one statement that has informed everything that I did, that drove, that motivated the things that we did, was the statement made by that great icon, that great legal practitioner, the first legal Nigerian to be called to the English bar, Sapara Williams, who said that all of us are called for the direction of the people and for the advancement of the cause of this country. Such a deep statement, deep statement. Each time I read that statement or I talk about that statement, it becomes even deeper and deeper. You can't exhaust it. Oga Akamunje, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Life Venture, you are welcome, sir. Thank you. No wonder some little earthquake just happened where I sat when Oga walked. You are welcome, sir. So we decided that if we don't make an effort to put this together, the labor of our heroes past would be soon forgotten. And the integrity, the professionalism, the ethical conduct with which those who preceded us practiced this law would be lost completely. And so we decided to commission the production of this book, The History of the Nigerian Bar Association, by one of us who is such a wonderful reservoir of this, the history of this association, Mr. Olarewaju Akinsola. And please, I would like us to put our hands together for this gentleman, Larry. Most of us know him as Onigegewura. You know him as Onigegewura, Larry. He went all over, collected information, spent time in libraries, some archives here and there to put this together. A very rich document. In fact, I am president of the Nigerian Bar Association, but more than half of the things put together here, I didn't know until we commissioned him and he started bringing these things out and we got to know. So now I am richer and a better member of the Nigerian Bar Association because I know more about the history of this association with this effort. And Mommy, no better personality to be present when I'm presenting this document or this book to NEC members. Like I said, Mrs. Hirat Balogun was here earlier, and you are here. You are one person that will relate with virtually all the information here. Some of us only had the stories, but I'm sure you will relate with everything that is written in this book, from the stories of Sir Christopher Sapara Williams to the present day. And so it's such an honor and privilege that I will be presenting this book to you again for you to see, which by the grace of God will unveil at the opening ceremony tomorrow. And we would also be honored with your presence at that meeting. So, Mommy, permit me to bring the book to you. You will see it, you touch it, you bless us, and tomorrow we'll unveil it and we'll give you a copy to go home with by the special grace of God. And that will end when I come back, to end my remarks, and we will close the meeting and go for the cocktail. So, distinguished colleagues, no, Mommy, that's it. That is, yes, ma'am. We started the Honorable Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Fagbemi, myself. Mr. Fagbemi also supported this effort. So all through, you see the introduction. Let me show you the picture of that's Sapara Williams, the first lawyer. And your story is also there as well, and what you've done to the profession. So, yes. So by the grace of God, tomorrow we would unveil this book at the conference, and then copies will be made available to our members.
I want to congratulate the president for all his hard work. He has been a dedicated president. He spoke when it was necessary to speak. And I used to phone him. If I feel something is wrong, I will phone him. But he's an excellent president. He's not afraid of the government. And you spoke when it was necessary. You know, I used to tell you. So we are proud of you, Mr. President. And for the production of this book, this is unique. I cannot recollect, but I think you are the first person to produce this sort of book, History of the Nigerian Bar Association. Thank you very much, because a lot of people will read this book and they will know about the NBA, which is very, very important. So congratulations for a very successful tenure, because tenure has been very successful to me, and I'm sure to many others. Yes, it's a very successful tenure. Well done, President. Well done. And I pray that God will bless this book and that the Nigerian Bar Association will continue to grow from strength to strength in the mighty name of Jesus. And people will read it and know about us.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you. We have another elder here, okay? If you touch it, you are blessed it.
I'll use my two hands to touch it.
Mr. President, I say congratulations. This will put down the history of the Nigerian Bar Association. What we didn't know before, our juniors read about it and know what Nigerian Bar Association is all about. I congratulate you again. Congratulations.
Thank you so very much, sir. I will, with my uncle that admitted me to bar, uncle, this is what we did, sir, so that we will know more about you, others will know more about you, and about the entire Nigerian Bar Association, by the grace of God.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. I commend your leadership for this initiative. It's a very important milestone for us in the Nigerian Bar Association. At least we have a starting point. Moving forward, we can only build on what you have started. But it's good for us to have a codified history of the Nigerian Bar Association. Well done and congratulations.
Thank you very much. Antengi. Yeah, you are blessed. Yes. Are we taking report from? Just before I conclude, the State of the Nation is on the agenda. I adopt my address or my statement with respect to the State of the Nation as I have been saying it, and as I said it in that statement I issued when I called on the protesters to suspend that action and engage with government. I also called on government. I was very clear and unequivocal about the situation of this country, and that situation is still persistent and I maintain that statement that I issued on that day. Maybe on this note, and maybe because of time, let me call on the chair of the Annual General Conference Planning Committee to come give us some information. Chair, do you have anything to say to us? Please.
Oh. Good evening, distinguished NEC members, senior members of the bar, senior advocates, our elders, mommies and daddies. Good evening. It's lovely to see everyone here. And we in turn have prepared for you, as we said, a conference like no other, which you've already started experiencing, I believe. We have tried our best to put together what will be acceptable to everyone, what everyone will find satisfaction with. The program has started formally as of Friday with the Jumat service, continued this morning with the health walk, now with the pre-NEC and the CJ's cocktail about to begin. Tomorrow, there's the Thanksgiving service and then the formal opening ceremony at 4 o'clock in the evening at Eco Hotel, and thereafter, the opening of the Friendship Center. All of these are contained in the conference brochure, which is an e-brochure, which without fail will be out in all your various inboxes before the end of today, unfailingly. The brochure that contains the detailed information. We had put out a preliminary program a couple of weeks ago so that members could have an idea of what the schedule is. But this is now the final program with all the speakers, confirmed venues, and all that. We apologize that it's taking a little bit of time to put out the final, but we did have to ensure that we crossed all our T's and dotted all our I's. Behind your conference tag is a barcode. If you scan that barcode with your electronic devices, the program will pop up. It's a completely e-program, so that's where you get all the information about the conference. Also, the virtual conference app, WOVA app. We encourage everyone to download WOVA and use it. Not only is it a social platform where you can have your information about your class or call set meetings, it also provides information about the conference. So those are two sources, aside from the regular emails and other means by which the information will be passed. We crave your indulgence for any lapses. In a conference of this magnitude, they're bound to happen, but we've tried as much as we can to mitigate them. And I have a wonderful team of dedicated men and women of the bar who have been working tirelessly to ensure that this conference is a success. And I must specially mention, in addition to the AGCPC, the local organizing committee that has been nothing short of outstanding, made up of members of all the branches in Lagos. They've put together, all their remits have been carried out with military precision. And we thank them very much for their dedication to the bar. On that note, I would take my leave and look forward to welcoming everybody. My phone number is readily available, and I am always available to answer any questions that anyone may have. If I don't answer your phone call immediately, be sure that I'll return it. And all the members of the committee are also available to answer any questions you may have. Mr. President, I don't know if there's anything else that you need me to say, sir.
I think you concluded on a good note. If we have any questions, we'll look for you because you are available. Your number is there. And if you can't reach her and you reach me, I will grab Mrs. Badejo, Mrs. B, and make her available to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So, in conclusion, when NEC gave us when you know, I almost was going to say assistant president of the bank. So in the course of our administration, the first vice president and the general secretary were recommended by you to be parts of, to be members of the body of benchers. And they've been so admitted. At the time they said, oh no, Mr. President, you should, I said, no, I'm already there by virtue of the office. Ex officio, I'm in body of benchers. That, but before we go, they can enter. When they enter, then we can ask, request to be to go in there. So we've written a letter to the body of benchers nominating my humble self and Mr. Abdullah Yahaya, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, to be appointed as members of the body of benchers. So if that happens, I exit as president and I would cease to be a member of the body of benchers by virtue of my occupation of this office. But then the body of benchers can consider that nomination for my nomination and that of Abdullah Yahya as members of the body of senior advocates, sorry, members of the body of benchers, if they so desire, if we meet the requirements. So I'll be asking for your approval, your ratification of that nomination as well, alongside all the adoption of the statements that are issued, alongside the actions that we've taken, alongside actions that we would yet take in the next 5 days that we remain in office, including I will make payments for vendors now in the next 5 days. So can I have someone move a motion if you so agree? I can't recognize you from here. Yes.
My name is Ibrahim Lawan, Chair Ibadan Bar. I rise to oppose the president nominating himself to the body of benchers. I know and I'm aware that situations like this, the president that is coming do the nomination for the president that is leaving. I do not think that it is tidy for Mr. President to nominate himself into a committee. So I will stand to oppose that nomination. I thank you, Mr. President.
Okay. Okay, do you oppose the nomination of Abdullah Yahya? Okay. Okay. I agree. There is no need to debate on this issue. I step down from the nomination. I step down from.
Mr. President, members of NEC, I think that I oppose the position just taken by the last speaker on the issue and want to say. And I want to say that the president was a bit hasty in stepping down his nomination. It is right for the president to forward his name. There is nothing wrong with it. And it has been a practice prior to this time. The president is just forwarding his name for appointment by the BOB. Not that
Of course, it's the practice. It's been the practice, but I'm not particular about that. Anyway, let's hear.
Mr. President, sir, NEC members. Mr. President, I stand to congratulate your personality and your character when you said you are standing it down. And I think that is the proper thing to do. And I commend you for that. You see, you are going to be in body of benchers and nobody will stop it. But what things are supposed to be done right. The step you take, I'm not saying that the opposition is correct or not, but the step you took is the step that I will take today, tomorrow, and next. And I congratulate you. Let's leave it like that. The incoming president will take care of it. Thank you very much.
Oh, boy.
Well, that
Mr. President, distinguished NEC members, my name is Paul Daudu, Chairman, MBA Buhari Branch. I want to align myself with the position of Muyiwa Akimboro SAN. This issue can be stepped down to the next week if there is no timeline. That's my position. Thank you.
I would have everybody speak. You all speak, and I will take a decision on it. No problem. Yeah, no. Give it to. Yes. Empty. Allow Sheyi to speak. Sheyi. Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. My name is Sheyi Olaomi, Chairman, MBA Ikeja Branch. I want to be clear on what my brother Chair from Ibadan said. And if I'm not mistaken, he said that you cannot nominate yourself. Is that correct, Mr. President? That means that someone else can nominate you. And if that is the position, I, Sheyi Olaomi, Chairman, Ikeja Branch, hereby nominate you on that committee. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Mr. President, sir. My name is MT Muhammad. My name is MT Muhammad, former chairman of Kaduna branch, immediate past chairman of Kaduna branch. Mr. President, sir. Yes, the first speaker from Ibadan. I'm so please hold on, my chairman Kepi. That's the hallmark of leadership. An objection was raised. Much ado. You said you were stepping down your name. That's just hallmark of leadership. My president, I second the motion moved by my brother Sheyi. You have stepped down your own nomination by yourself. We are nominating you, Mr. President. We are nominating you from the floor of the House. This is just a parting gift. You have led us well. You have led us well, and we want to give you this gift
I second that motion, Mr. President.
Is it the decision of this Nec that Abdullahi Yahaya's nomination is carried and Nec has nominated me to the body of benchers? So shall it be. So can I have someone move a motion for all the other ratifications and permissions that we sought for? Mustafa.
Mr. President, distinguished members of NEC, I especially recognize the senior advocates of Nigeria present. My name is Mustafa Abubakar, former chairman of, former chairman of Kaduna branch. Mr. President, I've been a member of NEC for about 18 years now, from the presidency of Olisa Bakova, SAN. And I want to say that the NEC that you've presided over in the past 2 years is one of the best NEC experience I've had. Meetings have been regular and the deliberations have been robust. And today's NEC meeting is not an exception. The president is the face of the NBA. The president is the spokesman of the NBA. All the actions you took from the last NEC meeting in June till today were the actions of NEC. We've listened to them before now. We've read your communications, your letters, your statements before now, and we've seen you in the media. And some of us have attended some of those engagements you had. And we were proud to see you speak for us. We align ourselves with all those statements and all those actions, and I rise to move a motion that this August body, today's NEC, ratify all those actions and statements as approved as actions of NEC. I so move.
Thank you, Mustafa. Who seconds? Abubakar Aliyu, defunct chairman, former chairman, Gwagwalada branch.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, distinguished NEC members, my name is Isa Abubakar Aliyu, co-opted NEC member. Mr. President, I second the motion as moved by the San designate, Mr. Mustafa Abubakar.
Thank you. Now, any other business? Who moves for the adjournment of this meeting? New chairman and secretary. Half of NEC is new chairman and secretaries. Yes. we have any other business? If you have, we can raise it.
My president,
Eh?
my president, just like distinguished members of NEC, I rise to observe that some of our colleagues who were recently elected into office at various branches
That's what we are going to
not-
do. So please, can you, if you are a newly elected member, you don't have to come here, just rise wherever you are. Just rise. So we welcome all of you. We welcome all of you to NEC. We welcome all of you to NEC. Of course, like you know, it's the second highest decision-making body of the Nigerian Bar Association. So you will take on the responsibility of deciding the fate of this association, what this association would do, and of course, what it can do is clearly spelled out in the Constitution. So I would commend the Constitution of the Nigerian Bar Association to you. I would commend to you also our seniors and fathers that are around us. Always seek advice from them on issues that you have to deal with as members of NEC. You are so many. In 5 days, we'll hand you over to the new administration of the Nigerian Bar Association. When that time comes, we would come and do individual introductions. But for now, I'm sure we have all your details, all your records. You know, with us, we may not have met you individually. Some of you we know, others we do not, but I'm sure in the course of our future engagements, we'll get to know you. So I congratulate you. I wish you a successful tenure as well. And I pray that God will equip you with everything that you need to succeed in the leadership responsibilities that you have been conferred with as leaders of the bar. I say congratulations to all of you. Thank you very much. You can have your seats. So who moves for you from Offa? AOB. Chair Lagos. What do you want to talk? Any business you have, when Mazi comes, discuss it. I'm not, but the ones that I will do in 5 days, I will do them. Move motion for adjournment. Don't give me any work that, yes.
Mr. President and distinguished members of NEC, Ma Priscillakuye Egbituma, having gone through the entire agenda for today, I, Olabisi Makonjola, in my capacity as the chairman of the NBA Lagos branch, hereby move for the adjournment of this NEC meeting. Thank you.
Former chair, Asaba, Precious.
Mr. President, distinguished members, Mr. President, my chairmanship is still potent, sir. Yes, sir.
How many more days do you have?
About a month, sir.
How many more days do you have?
It's in months.
You want to make it look big, it's a month.
Yes.
Okay, Chairman Asaba.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I rise to second the motion just moved by my brother, BC Makanjola, for the adjournment of this meeting. Thank you very much.
This meeting stands adjourned. I wish you all the best. God bless you all.